ZGRWhyUDead! And welcome back to the Dark Souls playthrough. Where we left off, we had just made our way down to the depths, we killed the giant rat, and we made our way to the first bonfire, or I guess the only bonfire. So the next things we've got to do is we're going to go after Knight Kirk to kill him so that we ensure that later in the game we can get his armor. Again, to do that we have to kill him 3 times. And then we're going to go and unlock the secret door, and then we're going to go after the boss. And then finally head down to the first bonfire in Blighttown. So we've actually got a lot to do in this video, so here we go. Now, to get to Kirk, what we're going to do is go backwards, or rather go through this area that we've already been to, and go back towards the giant rat, because by the giant rat there's a waterfall that we can fall down that takes us pretty much right to him. It's always best to single pull these giant rats because yeah, they've got a bleed effect, or oh no, it's a poison effect, but they can be kind of brutal in numbers. So there we took the first right, here we're going to take the first left, and then the right all the way at the end of this tunnel. And that's going to be the most efficient way to get to this area, because some of the other paths that you might take through this little maze area have some pits that you'll fall down into, and you don't want to do that because you'll fall right down into the area with all the cursed, or the enemies that curse you. Otherwise, this is where we killed the giant rat first of all, and now we're just going to slide down here, and it's going to take us right down to where we want to be. Now, this can get a little bit tricky. To my left is going to be the curse guys, but there's also giant rats and Kirk, and they'll all start coming out kind of about the same time. So we want to be efficient here and try to kill this. There should only be one of these cursed lizards that come up, 1 or 2. The thing that gets you is they have a poison breath attack that they'll spit out, and that's what actually can curse you. So if you can take them out before they spit, there's no problem. If they do spit, just back up to get out of the poison mist area. Now here's going to be the rats are going to come out. And right about the time these giant rats come out, Kirk's going to show his ass up as well. And of course, some more fucking enemies showed up just to make a trivial encounter not so trivial. Kirk is a pretty easy fight. He does have a bleed effect though, and that pretty much comes from everything. His barbed sword, his shield, and his armor if he rolls into you. So you've got to watch out for all of those types of things. And there we go. We're going to get a decent amount of souls from killing him. I guess not that many yet. When we kill him later, again, when we run into him, you're going to get a shitload of souls. He also has, he's going to drop some humanities, and he's also going to give us a shot, or rather, it's a random drop rate for all of his gear, or for either this shield and his sword. Didn't happen that time, but I'm pretty sure I end up getting both of them later in the playthrough. So now, the cursed bad guys are no longer an issue. We've killed Kirk, so what we're going to do is swing back around, so straight ahead of me here, and then to the right is going to bring us to a secret door that can only be unlocked from this side, and that essentially gives us a straight shot from the bonfire that we rested at straight to the boss. Being that I still have 8 Estus flasks, and the Gaping Dragon really is not a tough encounter at all once you understand the strategy to beating him, we're just going to go straight for him. Now this is going to be another encounter where we can summon Knight Solaire, and that's his summon signal right next to me. But if you swing around here, there's a crossbow, like a heavy crossbow that you can pick up. Not that I'm going to use it, but it's there. And now we'll get Solaire. Though, Solaire really is not that useful in this fight. I find that he actually kind of makes the fight more difficult, because there's a certain move sequence that this boss executes when you're far away from it. I think it's that he just can't see you. And when he does that, he'll do a move that basically leaves him vulnerable to attack. But if Solaire's with you, he just kind of always stands right in front of this stupid asshole, and, ooh, baby. And so, you can't ever get the vulnerabilities to hit the boss. Anyway, this is the Gaping Dragon. Or Vagina Dragon. Now, I believe, I can't confirm this, and I have nothing to base it on other than just my own thoughts, but I think that he can only see you when he's raised up like that. When he puts his torso down towards the ground, he no longer can see you, and that's when he's going to do this move, and he's going to run into the wall. So basically what you do is you get him to stand up so he can see you, and then he'll lay down and run into the wall, and that's what makes him vulnerable. What I'm also trying to do now is try to chop off his tail, because it drops a really powerful axe. I believe it's an axe, but it requires like 50 strength. So you can see what I'm doing here is I'm running away to try to get the dragon to lose sight of me, and that's when he's going to come running at me. But because you can see Solaire over there dicking around, the dragon's not going to chase me. So it's going to make the fight a little bit tougher until Solaire's dumbass dies. Set of leather armor over here, which is a nice set for rogue characters or anyone playing a heavy melee class as well that can't quite wear the heavy plate mail. It's a good option. It's got better defenses than most of the starting gear. There we go, the Dragon King Great Axe. We picked that up. I think it takes like 50 strength to hold, though, something really high, and it's just not really feasible. It's not something you'll be able to even use until late game. And it doesn't scale based off of any stats. You can upgrade it 5 times, but that's it. It's a fixed damage. Though I believe that its R2 move is a big AoE sweep attack, which is kind of neat, at the cost of durability each time you use it. Alright, so stupid Solaire's dead, and now we can actually get this boss to fight us how we want him to. Again, my trick is to just run all the way to the other side and wait till he does. There you go. He stood up, and then he landed on the ground, and then like that yellow smoke came out. That means he's going to charge at you. So you just run to the side, let him charge forward, and you can run in from behind and get some hits off. Just rinse and repeat. That's all you have to do to kill this guy. Takes a little bit of time, but you know, it's easy, and he gives a ton of souls. I think 25,000. He just did his move. Now we run to the side, and we'll be able to get a few more free hits in. I think you can pretty much always deplete your stamina bar entirely before the boss turns around to get you, but I don't recommend hanging around any longer than that. might be the most lengthy boss battle in the game for me. There may be a more viable strategy to taking him out, maybe from the front and dodging some attacks, but whatever. I find that this method pretty much, you know, you're not going to take much damage taking this route. It's going to guarantee a victory. You know, I realize I'm calling this video the Dark Paladin build. I'm not really much of a Paladin yet, considering the only thing I have is a heal spell. But we'll get there. We'll get some better spells a bit later in the game, and we'll start getting some cool armor that kind of makes me look a little bit more evil, and that's why I call it that. You know, there's no official class even called a Paladin or a Dark Paladin. People have been asking what the difference is. There's no difference. That's just what I'm calling this type of character. A heavy plate mail wearing, two-handed lightning bolt throwing motherfucker who looks a little bad. And there we go. We got a lot of souls and the key to Blighttown, which is the next zone, which for the most part we skipped in the last one, in my last playthrough, as I did with the depths, because we used the master key to go through the back door of Blighttown, which is way shorter. It's basically a straight shot straight down to Quelaag the boss, who is also the guardian of the second bell tower of Awakening. So we're going to head there now. I may actually backtrack first and go to the bonfire so that I can spend these souls and get my Estus flasks back, because Blighttown is one of the harder zones in the game, just because you can kind of fall off ledges a lot, and there's guys that hit really hard, and there's lots of poison, and a new effect called Toxic, which is a bitch. So we're going to rest, spend these souls, and then we should be good to go. So that's going to get me one more spell slot, and now I can start putting points into endurance after this, so that I can ensure I'm going to start wearing all my gear. So to get to Blighttown, we just go right back to where we just were down by the dragon, and instead of turning right to go into the dragon's room, we're just going to go straight ahead. There's also going to be a vendor down there who sells some interesting things, some crystal weapons, which are some very powerful weapons, but you can't repair them. And they have really low durability, so they break easy. He also sells an armor set that I don't find to be all that great, but what's nice is later on you can actually find him in a special location, and I'll show that, where he sells all of the gear from any of the bosses that you've killed previously. And I end up buying several pieces from him later to show that off.
Well, it is. Come back.
So if you're interested in wearing his armor, that's what he sells here. Now, you have to be careful in Blighttown, because it's like a straight descent down into the depths of hell. This is like the transition between, you know, the mainland down into the demon ruins, where we're going to fight a series of bosses. So it's all big, deep chasms. You know, I skipped it for a reason in my Sorcerer playthrough. I mean, I don't need any of the items as a Sorcerer, though we are going to pick up a nice shield as his Paladin. But you can see it's just a bitch. See how narrow these pathways are? And this guy, if he hits you with that club, he's going to knock your ass back. So this part's pretty tricky. I've had trouble with this dude, unlike all my characters. You can see it has a big poison effect there too. I've actually never used the dung pie item. I believe you throw it at enemies and it puts a toxic effect on them. You can use it in PvP too, which would probably be hilarious. I don't know why I've not used it before. Now these guys are quite a bit easier once you're past the first one because there's a little bit more room to maneuver around. You're also going to want to equip that spider shield that I picked up earlier because of the big poison resistance, which will pretty much save your ass from if you get toxined, if you get a toxic dart shot at you. Alright, so this is a new type of enemy here. I'm not exactly sure what they're called, but the only thing you want to watch out for is they'll do a grab move where they kind of jump at you, and if they jump and land on you, they're going to do a lot of damage if you don't have good armor. Enough to one-shot like cloth-wearing characters with low hit points. And you can see there's a little guy shooting darts at me. And I'm pretty sure that once you kill them once, they do not respawn. But those are the guys that shoot the darts that have toxic effect on them. If that hits you, it's going to put a big debuff on you that's going to drain your life for several minutes, unless you have the item that removes the toxic effect, which I don't at this point in time, unfortunately. So that was the jump move I'm talking about, and there's a tell for it. All you got to do is back up, and you should be able to dodge it. Now, as far as those toxic darts are concerned, jeez, I'm getting fucked up. As long as your shield's up, you'll be able to block the toxic darts. But the second you take it down, like maybe to swing at them, you're going to be vulnerable, unless you're using something like a spear where you can poke from behind your shield. Unfortunately, my two-handed sword's really slow, and there's a good chance I might get a toxic dart in my ass here. What the fuck? We didn't die either. Too risky to use that ladder because it's almost a guarantee he's going to hit me with that dart. So I'm going to have to just jump off this thing. I don't have to go this way, but I think there's a good soul that I can pick. Ah, fuck, he got me. You can see how fast my life is draining. And I don't believe that having poison resistance makes that drain any slower. It just prevents you from getting toxic. I can't confirm that, but toxic is just a bitch in this game. I'm going to have to use like all of my Estus flasks between now and getting to the next bonfire, so hopefully I make it. There's a sword that we could pick up, a katana. I'm not going to do it because I'm not going to end up using it. And because I'm going to be pretty much out of Estus flasks and it's just risky to go after it. There's also a set of gear that makes you look like a ninja that I am going to pick up because it has really high poison resist. So I'll wear that through the remainder of this level till we get to the bottom at least. So this part is starting to get my blood going, my heart going because of how quickly my HP's falling. I'm gonna run out of flasks, and I'm not even by. I mean, I'm close to the bonfire, but man, it would suck to die right now because this is taking like 10 minutes, and you know you have to redo all of that again. Now, the only reason to come down here is for this item. There may be you may actually be able to get to the bonfire from down here. Actually, I think you probably can. There's a lot of paths to go through Blighttown. Oh, maybe there was no reason to come down here. Well, regardless, we're going to pick up that armor. Damn, I'm almost dead. I'm going to pick up that armor set. Oh, close. And then get the fuck to that bonfire. Luckily, the toxic effect is just... There we go, it's done. And so here's the armor set. This is not going to be one that I'm going to wear throughout the whole game, just in this area, because of the good poison resist. It's really lightweight, and it doesn't offer very much armor at all. But it makes you look kind of cool. Well, different. Okay, and here's the bonfire. We're going to spend a little bit of souls and level up, probably my endurance. Other than that, that's the end of this video. From here on, we're going to get through the rest of Blighttown and get down to the bottom and then go after Quelaag, which was one of the bosses, again, in the last playthrough that I did not show. So, see ya.